The United States will be facing Guatemala in the Gold Cup semifinals. The winner of this game will be playing Mexico or Honduras. Everything's lining up for another US men's national team versus L3 final. However, Honduras and Guatemala should not be underestimated. I mean, ask Mr. Loudmouth Jesse Marsh. He knows. But for this video, we are going to focus all of our attention on the United States and Guatemala only. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And today we have the ultimate US men's national team versus Guatemala Gold Cup semifinals preview. And first we're going to go through when and where to watch this game. Then we'll talk about the United States projected starting 11 and then the starting 11 I would like to see in this game. Again, it doesn't really matter what I want to see, and we probably won't see what I want to see, but you kept asking for my lineup. So here we are. We're doing it. And even though I get a lot of hate in the comment section, the live stream chat, everywhere, I am a peaceful guy. I'm not gonna fight you guys. I'm known for being peaceful. I love peace. And many call me taller and better looking Tom Cruise, but my friends call me Soccer Gandhi. Last but not least, in this video, we're gonna talk about our opponent, Guatemala. And yes, I will be giving you my prediction for this game at the end of this video, because why not? What you should do right now is hit the like button and wash your hand, because there's like a 67% chance that you're watching this while taking a massive dump. I probably caught you once again. And this video is brought to you by Incogni, but more on that later. Roll the intro. The United States is set to face Guatemala this Wednesday, July 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This game will take place at the Energizer Park in St. Louis. And I'm actually expecting this game to sell out despite the prices. If you're in the United States, you can watch this game on Fox, very likely on Fox Sports 1, Univision, or Today Any. And of course, we will be doing a live watch along here at the channel at Tactical Manager TV, where I essentially lose my freaking mind for 2 hours. And then after the game, to calm myself down, I have to listen to many songs from the greatest Canadian singer of all time, Bono. The United States and Guatemala have faced each other 27 times throughout history, with a large advantage for the United States. The Americans have 16 wins while Guatemala has 6, and these two tied 5 times. Of course, past results are no indication of future outcomes, but regardless of that record, the US men's national team are the clear favorites. But so was Canada, and they lost to Guatemala, so there's that. We gotta be careful. I'm gonna talk about that later in the video. So right now, why don't we dive into the US men's national team projected starting 11 and the one that I would wanna see for this game. But before we do that, you're gonna drop a like in this video if you haven't already, and we're gonna put a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Incogni. How often do you get spam calls? And you know why? Data brokers sell your data to businesses and even scammers, which leads to annoying spam calls, text, emails, and just in general, an invasion of your privacy. And you know what's the worst part? It's all legal, selling your data. And that can also lead to exposing sensitive information to bad actors. But it's not just that. In the United States of America, people search websites are a problem. Anyone can access your information. An employer, landlord, stalker, even that creepy neighbor. But Incogni, the sponsor of this video, takes care of that for you. And we also have a special offer. Incogni reaches out to the data brokers on your behalf, requests your personal data to be removed, and handles any objections from their website. And the entire process is automated. They also make sure your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removals. That is why their yearly subscription is the way to go. And here's the special offer. Use the code TACTICALMANAGER at the link in the description of this video to get 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Yes, you heard that right. Use the code TACTICALMANAGER and you will get 60% off their annual plan. Plus, you also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And thank you very much, Incogni, for partnering up with Tactical Manager and sponsoring this video. Make sure to use our special offer. Okay, we are back, and it's time to talk about our beloved US men's national team. And Coming into this game, the United States has no players suspended. But at the time of this recording, Johnny Cardoso is questionable due to an ankle injury that he's been dealing with for over a month. But besides that, everyone should be available, everyone should be healthy. Of course, Haji Wright has left camp, but that was like a week ago, but everyone else is available and fully fit. So now let's go through the projected starting 11, and then I'll quickly go through what I would do. Now, the projected starting 11, as lazy as it sounds, I think it's going to be the exact same we had against Costa Rica in the quarterfinals. Pochettino isn't really known for adapting quickly, and since this team is winning and advancing, I don't see why he would change. And to be fair, that lineup against Costa Rica should be more than enough to get past Guatemala. And that lineup had Matt Freese on goal, Alex Freeman as the right back, Arfston, that actually had a very eventful game against Costa Rica, where he was involved in every single goal in that match, the Costa Rica goals and the American goals. Chris Richards and Tim Ream would be the two center backs, Luca De La Torre and Tyler Adams in the double pivot in the midfield. Then Sebastian Berhalter would be playing wide, even though he didn't really play as a right winger, but he was a bit wider. Diego Luna would be the left winger. Tillman would be the 10, the central attacking midfielder, and Ajiman would be up top. So that would be Pochettino's starting 11. I don't think we're going to see any changes. What would be mine? What would mine look like? And it would be similar to his, but there's a few players that I would change here and there, so let me explain. I would keep Matt Freese there on goal. Incredible performance in the penalty shootouts. My right back would be Alex Freeman, and my left back would be John Token. We got to get him ready to play against Mexico. We can't really go with Arfston's defense against Mexico in the final. Of course, first we have to beat Guatemala, but I just think John Token is a much more well-rounded player than Arfston. The two center backs for this game, I would go with Chris Richards and Mark McKenzie. I would like to give Tim Ream some rest and give Mark McKenzie a shot, an opportunity. Now, the double pivot, I would also go with Tyler Adams and Luca De La Torre, but on the right wing, instead of going with Sebastian Berhalter, I would go with Brendan Aronson. Then on the left wing, I would keep Diego Luna. The 10 would be Malik Tillman. And the center forward, I would go with Damian Downs. Give this guy 50 to 60 minutes and see what he can do. He should be good enough to play against Guatemala, and if he can't perform against Guatemala, then yeah, just go with Ajiman or Brian White at some point. But give Damian Downs a good run so we can actually see what he can do. Because Damian Downs hasn't looked great, but he hasn't looked terrible. So how about we give him a legitimate shot instead of like 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Give him about an hour, 60 minutes, see what he can do. He's not doing crap, then sure, put Ajiman in or Brian White, I don't care. But I would definitely start Damian Downs. Will Pochettino do that? Probably not. He's in love with Ajiman, so yeah, that's probably the starter. Okay, so let's talk about Guatemala. So Guatemala, a team that has punched above their weight the entire tournament. No one expected them to be here, but here they are in the semifinals. They were actually not even expected to get out of their group. Guatemala was placed in Group C with Panama, Jamaica, and Guadeloupe. Panama was expected to top the group, which they did, and Jamaica was expected to finish in second. But Jamaica will do what Jamaica does. I seriously feel bad for the Jamaican fans. I legitimately do. But we are here to talk about Guatemala. They defeated Jamaica 1-0 in the very first game, which is a bit odd because Jamaica defeated Guatemala 3-0 6 days prior to that game in World Cup qualifying. It doesn't make any sense. How do you beat a team 3-0 and then when you come into the Gold Cup, you lose to that same team 1-0? Jamaica. For Game 2, Guatemala lost 1-0 to Panama, and listen, it was just 1-0, which honestly, that's not a bad result for Guatemala because Panama is a very good team, even though they did get knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup. But this game against Panama could have easily been 2 or 3-0 for Panama. They were much better than Guatemala. 1-0 was a good result, but Panama completely outplayed them. They were far superior. And then in the last game of the group stage, Guatemala defeated a very weak Guadeloupe side 3-2, which ultimately got them to second place in the group, where they would go on to face Canada, one of the favorites to win the Gold Cup. And listen, when they faced Canada in the first half, Canada actually outplayed Guatemala. Clearly, Canada was the better side. But Canada only scored a goal off a penalty kick that Jonathan David was able to convert. And even though Guatemala was getting outplayed by Canada, Guatemala also hit the post in the first half. But towards the end of the first half, Schaffelberg, with a very idiotic, stupid tackle, got a second yellow. I don't even know why he did that. And then he got a red card. And then Canada had to play the entire second half man down. Rubio Rubin, do you guys remember him from MLS? Now he plays in USL. He scored a header, and that tied the game 1-1. It went to penalty shootouts, and then Canada, led by Jesse Marsch, lost on penalty shootouts, and they are eliminated from the Gold Cup, and Guatemala advanced to face the United States in the semifinals. In terms of notable players with this Guatemalan roster, I can give you a few names, but it's honestly not a strong team on paper. There's a lack of talent with Guatemala, but they make up for it with grit and tactical discipline. Most of their players have that dog in them, if that makes any sense. But some notable names are Rubio Rubin, former MLS player, now plays in USL for Charleston Battery. Aaron Herrera, that actually plays in MLS right now for DC United. Decent defender right there. Olger Escobar, that plays for Montreal in MLS. And then the rest of the roster pretty much just plays in Guatemala. So again, as you can see, this is not a great team in terms of talent. Now, they're currently coached by an experienced Mexican coach called Luis Fernando Tena. He coached multiple clubs in Liga MX from the 90s all the way till 2021. And he's been in charge of Guatemala for 49 games with 20 wins, 12 draws, and 17 losses. Now look, the US men's national team clearly are the favorites here, but so is Canada. But if we play our game, and if we're patient, and we don't get silly, poor defensive moments like Arfston or a stupid red card, this should 100% be a comfortable win for the United States. This is what I'm going to say, and very often I am seen as the negative US men's national team fan, even though I'm a little bit delusional and I always pick them to win. I like our odds in this game. And if I were to have a score prediction, I would say 2 or 3-0 for the US men's national team. I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I think it's going to be a comfortable win. There were patterns of play that I liked from the United States against Costa Rica, at least on offense, and I think we're going to create a lot of chances against Guatemala. If we can convert them early and they have to open up and attack us, we should not have an issue getting a 2 or 3-0 lead and have a comfortable win to make it to the final, which we're likely to play Mexico. I'm not going to talk about this game in this specific preview because Mexico also has to defeat Honduras. But ultimately, my prediction is a very comfortable US men's national team win. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like right now before you go. Thank you, Incogni, for sponsoring this video. You guys can use our link in the description of this video. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the live watch along between the United States and Guatemala. Hopefully we win. I think we will. And let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. I want to thank you all very much for watching and have a great day.